Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a weekly overview. This is for the 7th through the 13th. And normally I use 3 decks, and there's typically 1 card per slot. But instead of using a deck of cards, I brought out my bucket of charms, so there's an asymmetrical number of charms for each stack. And sometimes I get double cards, so these stacks have extras. I also, my book here was looking at me when I was digging through my card decks, because it's in the same general area. It still has the old cover. But it's the same image. So I have got, apparently supposed to be reading one of these poems, and I'm not sure which one yet, and I'm not quite sure when either. I was thinking, oh, I'll have to read one at the beginning of the thing, but perhaps somewhere in the imagery it will tell me when, but at some point during this reading, there's one of these is going to come through. Okay. Oh yeah, and so I'm using my bucket of charms, and I'm using the Radley Valentine Angel deck, and I'm using my Morgan Greer deck, which I've modified. I've been thinking on and off about how to make my charms available to the masses, and I thought about offering them as printable pages, but what I really want to do is make them like a epoxy or enamel or some kind of mold of acrylic, and I've been sort of toying with how I'm going to do that in the background of my mind. But it would cost to start that up, and I don't have money for the supplies right now. But in general, at some point, I'm gonna figure out how to make these charms widely available with the same designs. Although probably not that one, because that's a person, and I'd have to ask his permission. Alright, so we're starting on the 7th, Sunday. Sunday. So the inverted charm, so this is in the reverse of the third eye. Make sure that that's in focus enough. I'm just going to put it like this so that I know that it's inverted. And then I have the record player, if I can hold on to it. The turntable if you're nasty. The charm imagery is giving me this idea of like my third eye is somewhat shut down, and it's like instead of detecting movement, somebody's like walking by with a record player and a baby carriage just to like pretend that there's nothing going on that's unusual. So we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. Now, this particular Knight of Swords in the Morgan Greer deck is like, he's like in the moment of the tower. His sword is bloody. It's nighttime. It's on fire. This is a 1 or a 12. Now this could be Hanged Man energy, right? Where there's a delay for downloads. I'd also like let me play you the Song of My People. See what this angel deck is. Queen of Swords. Wow. Independent, experienced, realistic, or witty. Objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, seeing the humor in a situation. Interesting. So this thing with the record player and the third eye like flickering in and out like somebody playing with a light switch is almost like a pantomime, like a farce that's going on. It's like, don't, like, one hand doesn't see what the other hand is doing. But here, this queen is looking into her crystal ball here. And she's like, it reminds me of Sister Act, where Whoopi Goldberg's character is like packing up all her things to run away. And she's talking to her backup singers, and she's like, it's like, don't you pack any more of my makeup in that bag. Don't think I don't know what you're doing. You know, it's like, just because I'm not taking action doesn't mean I can't see what's going on here. She's got this, like, sort of Thanos glove situation going on here, too. Which is interesting because this knight is out here. It looks like he's actively destroying. But maybe this is just firelight on his sword. Maybe it's not actually bloody. Or he's representing a slightly lower vibration of energy. He's seeing his world actively destroyed. Oh, what's this? There's people down underneath here. Okay. So there's a crone here, essentially the High Priestess, which is the next which is 2 vibrations up from the Queen of Swords, because it goes Queen of Swords and then Justice and then the High Priestess. So the crone is the High Priestess. And then this guy here, ostensibly perhaps the King of Swords, but it's this, like, this same guy. Like, maybe this is the king and he's out raising another city because they said his hair looked funny or something like that. But there's this sort of flowing energy, and then there's a city over here with like an Eye of Sauron situation, and then a Jupiter. What is that? Plus, she's looking at the ace because there's a unicorn there. What does that mean? I think I'm going to get a clarifier card. This is kind of weird. I'm getting a little bit of, like, I'm flipping the script and, like, you haven't heard this song before. The Fool. Alright, so, to start off with, we go with this solar energy, and I really don't... There's the one thing I do not like about this Fool card is that his bindle looks like an orange ball sack. He's got truck nuts on his stick. So, there's obviously the solar energy, but there's this idea of sacral energy as well. But I see the rose here, the white rose, is like the day after the death. It's like the death rose. Queen can be a 1 or a 13, which would be transition, death, ascension. And I feel like there's this... I am acting in a way that's not fully third eye conscious. There's it's like there's crown activation here, but it comes at a high price. And look how his collar here actually looks like a tower as well. And then there's a burning tower here. But also, if these are ones, this could be 11. There's universal timing going on, and there's this thing like you need to go back to this idea of innocence, right? The fool is not as jaded as these two characters. I'm so jaded. Or you're so jaded. I'm the one that jaded you. I kind of feel like it's, what's happening is like a spinning, like a time portal, like a hypnotizing, like a past life regression or hypnosis regression for trauma, where it's like, so like you get hypnotized and then all of a sudden there's this like reliving this whole thing. It's kind of like in the movie The Devil's Advocate, where this whole movie plays out and then it doesn't go the way that the devil character wants to, so he sort of sucks it all back through in time. And we see, spoiler alert, but that movie came out in like 1995. The Keanu Reeves character just sort of like snaps out of this like hallucination in the middle of the bathroom in the courtroom. Like this whole fire and brimstone situation happened, but it was all just like playing out like like a hallucination, like a fantasy. And it's like, well, maybe I'm having a second chance at starting out in something in life where it's like I don't have to wait for another physical lifetime to do that. Alright, I'm gonna put on a different song. Just because things are moving in like spherical realms doesn't mean that it has to be the same tune every time. Alright, so that's kind of long-winded, but it took a while to get to the Tootsie Roll center of that guy. So let's look at Monday, the moon energy. The 8th. So we're dealing with the number 8, which could be strength or justice depending on the deck, but we also have this idea of infinite loop of time, which is sort of coming off of this other thing. Like idea of a Mobius strip, of something that expands all the way to the fullness of the outside and then pinches down into the new moon at the singularity in the middle. Now what's interesting is that I have the cello here, which is essentially a figure 8 shape, and is indicative of something that's being played or playing out or listen, which is coming off of that Sunday energy. Now, what's interesting is that I do have a lot of musically inclined charms, and they will often come out in clusters. Not all the time, but they when they do come out in clusters, you know, it's noticeable. So the cello, I have the snowman, and I was looking at this when I was setting up and taking pictures for the thumbnail for the video, and I was thinking, oh, it's like it's frozen in time, and then I was hearing Whitney Houston singing "Just One Moment in Time." I think it's all that you'll ever need is the next lyric. I can't remember the rest of it right now though, but there's this aspect of like something crystallizing, or like hold on, like hold this time slot for a second, like hold on to this vibration, or something is, it's also this idea of something that's artificial, right? A little bit of Frosty the Snowman. Okay, so here is, I know what this is. This is the speakers. It looks like a washer and dryer, but it's not. It's big honkin' woofer speakers, and it's inverted. It's like there's something, some kind of vibration going on, but it's not it's like there's no amplification. It's like I'm not hearing it. And what's interesting is that the snowman is also giving figure 8 energy. It's like 2 8s mashed together, like 2 timelines coming together, but there's a point where, again, this idea of crystallization. There's 2 timelines merging, but they're kind of like stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you, Steeler's Wheel. So I have the pyramid here, which has to do with a lot of different things, but it usually gives me ancient knowledge. Now the pyramid is half of an 8, half of an octahedron. So we have another 8 here. A lot of the time it gives me ancient knowledge, but it's giving me... What is it giving me? It's giving me pi right now. I just keep seeing spherical, like it's representing the hemispheres of the Earth. The hemispheres of the 8. Like if you took a tennis ball and cut it in half and left like a little bit on the end and opened it up, it would look like a number 8. So this number 8 is like a world that can open and shut. And when it shuts, it goes boom, and it creates like a spherical world. Interesting. And then we have a tape here, right? It's like I opened up the magic 8-ball and now I gotta tape it back together. So I'm not sure what that all means just yet, but let's see what these cards are. So I do have a double here, right? It's like we're looking at both halves of this bifurcated sphere. Which type have I got? Okay. So I have the Ace of Rods inverted, Ace of Wands inverted, and the Queen of Cups inverted. This is a 1, this is a 1 or a 13, so I am seeing that 11 universal timing number, and then again this idea of transformation, but here it's like it's something that's, it's either internal or it's something that's not happening because there's this aspect of being frozen. And what's interesting is that I have a fire elemental inverted, right? It's cold. And then I have a water elemental inverted. It's not flowing, right? It's frozen. And then we have the 9 of Cups. Interesting. More water. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, a love life. That doesn't make any sense. Now what's interesting is that the 9 of water is a half moon. The moon is 18. And the 9 is like, 9 of Cups is like a half moon, like a half, like a dream. What does that mean though? This is the dream. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. Okay, the tape is a recording, right? It's, this isn't like a tape it back together. This is a tape of music, right? A cassette tape, the master tapes, stuff like that. And this pyramid is like a resonant chamber. It's like in the recording studio. It's like something that was, it didn't make it, a song that didn't make it onto the album. And then we have Mr. Snowman. But here it's like Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Ooh. Mr. Sandman. Okay. Now, one of the lyrics in the Mr. Sandman song is like, tell me, it's like something like, tell me that my lonesome nights are over. And the night has to do with the moon, and the loneliness has to do with fear and darkness. It's like I know that there's this song, this resonant pattern, this event that hasn't been released. Like I know it in my bones that it hasn't, that it's not there. And I'm I'm it's like I'm holding on to this dream or refusing to let it go even though it's not happening, because the this waking nightmare of not having this resonant pattern, this event, this timeline happen, is that I don't get my ultimate emotional balance and fulfillment, and that's which I'm really passionate about. There's a discord between the reality and the dream. And it's like inability to move forward. Okay. So let's see what's coming in on Tuesday. Marty, the day of Mars. Where is Mars on the 9th? In Gemini. Okay. Alright. So let's look at the energies for the 9th, Tuesday. So I've got a significant pile of charms here. So I have the horse and cart. This is one of the chariot cards. I mean, one of the chariot charms. My original chariot charm was a UFO. This one, the horse and cart, they're kind of at a like isometric angle. Like they're like a time dilation. But no, it's a horse and buggy. It's like old timey. Again, with this, we had the phonograph, the pyramid, all indicating something in the past. And then we have this as well. And inverted, oh, there's only two there. So inverted, I have the Nautilus. So there's phi spiral, it's a cephalopod. So there could be this idea of the crown and third eye chakras. And maybe also the root. So it's sort of the, like when the Kundalini energy, which could essentially be considered an 8, loops back in on itself and the feedback comes back through, right? Everything is a feedback loop, right? If I want to have a contained energy, ooh, in the Wild Unknown Tarot, the Ace of Swords has a snake in an 8, a figure 8 around the Ace of Swords. That's a lot like this, but for the Kundalini energy to feed back into itself, it goes from the root all the way up to the crown and then comes back down again. It's essentially like two snakes in that way. But this is inverted, right? There's no feedback loop. And then we have inverted honey badger, right? Honey badger doesn't give a shit. It will... Now what's interesting with the honey badger is that it can chomp on a cobra and get, or whatever snake, and get bit, and the venom might make it take a nap for like 10 minutes, and then he's just gonna be like whatever and just keep eating the snake. So and it's like the opposite of the once bitten twice shy energy, but here honey badger's inverted. It's like I don't have the confidence to deal with my own feedback loop. And in that way, I'm like stuck in a rut. just going the same direction that I've always been going. But there might be another chariot energy with that, so we'll see what the cards say. So we have a double here with the angel deck. Page of Fire. Outgoing, creative, confident, mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. But then we have the Five of Pentacles, but this is inverted, right? It's like I'm coming out of this ostracization. Interesting, there's a sun temple on here. Fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. With this inverted, it's giving me a little bit of like, I'm gonna do it myself. Like, I want to do it. Page of Fire could be a 1 or an 11. So it's like I went from 113, 112, and then I had 113 again, and now I'm at like 111. And there was a 9 over here too. So I didn't even notice this, but this was 9, and these are 1s or 11s. So 911 emergency. I just got part of a song that had something dream in it, and I lost it. It was like a really intense... Does it let me out of this dream? What is that? I don't think it's Queen. I think it's somebody else. That's really irritating when I can't remember stuff. Oh, I have another card. Okay. So I was like, I needed some clarification. Hopefully about the horse and buggy. Alright, so I have the Three of Cups inverted. It's... Oh, this is like the root of the problem. I had cups inverted, but I had a 9 over here. The Queen inverted. 9 and 8. 3 is 8. If I take 8 from 11, that's 3 again. Be like 3 of Wands, which is I'm looking towards the future. Again, this is like, no, not a party, right? I want to do it myself. This is, I've been put out from the group. They're all like, you can't sit with us. We wear light red on Tuesdays. The Five of Cups inverted is like I'm no longer feeling or concerned about being blocked out from something. But this, I feel like I'm not quite certain what this card is doing. So let me get a clarifier for this horse and buggy. Clarifies the horse and cart, please. I don't think that's right. I think I'm supposed to be looking at this. Oh, okay. It's like a royal carriage. And the Page of Fire is like a footman. You know, like the guy who hops down from the carriage and like opens the door and shit. It's like I'm putting myself into service of some higher goal. Like, I might not be a life of the party, but I'm over here apprenticing with some sort of energy or group or person or it's like if I put myself in a low rung and serve a higher ideal, people might say, "Oh, you're just a lackey in this group. Why you could have been equal to us, but they're on a lower vibration, right? Why would you want to be included?" It's like, I don't want to be part of a group of something that's at a low vibration when I can create passion and fulfillment in if I go towards something where I might start off feeling like I only belong as subservient. But there's this avenue is going somewhere, right? It's like you're part of something even though you're just an intern in that something, right? It's not like you're not a pity friend, you're part of it, even if other people might say like, "Oh, you're only shoving the mail cart back and forth." Well, yes, but you're in a place or organization that has an overall higher vibration. Okay? So these are difficult to unpack today. Oh, alright, I guess I'm supposed to read this now, so let's see what we've got. I don't think... Oh. I don't feel like that's right either. Okay, let's read this one. Crystal Palace. Am I hollow? Nothing? Anyone would stay in this house of glass if there were something inside. Maybe the delicate contents are only visible to those that take the time to look. Shimmering iridescence everywhere, but only when the sun shines through the panes. Only when light dares enter this misty abode. 10,000 candles of rainbow luminescence twinkling, reflecting a million colored droplets out into the world. Shining out through transparent walls, vibrating with the sound of nirvana. Explosion of love visualized. Once again, the fortress halls have been abandoned in favor of the bustling street outside. My only accompaniment is the drumming of my tears slapping against the pitted sidewalk. Okay. So that's the difference between staying in the low vibration where you're out on the concrete sidewalk, or you're investing in something that other people might not be able to see. Alright, that made sense. Incidentally, if you want to read that or more of my poetry, you can find the link to this in my link tree. The cover's a little different, but it has the same picture on it. And then also I have snippets of poetry in my chapbook packs, which are on Etsy, which are just like a few bucks each. Just like chapbook packs. Alright, so Wednesday, mercurial energy. So we have the number of 10, which is the wheel number. I'm also seeing like 10 rounds of boxing. Like the Virgo and the Gemini are like doing a rocky number there. Like a rock'em sock'em robots. kids and their rock'em sock'em robots and their music. Mars and Gemini, and then we have the mercurial energy. So now what's interesting is that the new moon on the 13th is also the last day of post-shadow Mercury retrograde. So while Mercury's been direct since like a couple weeks, the post-shadow is waning at this point. So the charms here have the beach situation here, the towel, the umbrella, the beach ball. But what's interesting is that also for charm I have the squirrel. The squirrel to me gives me this idea of fall, of, you know, acorns and nuts and stuff. So it's almost like I'm seeing seasons passing here, which again is like a time lapse thing. Okay, so we have cards. The Devil inverted. Saturnian energy. 15 breaking down to a 6. I really like this card. This looks awesome. Interesting, when this is inverted, this little fly in the middle becomes upright. Oh, there's a candle in there too. Let's see what this is. Knight of Cups inverted. So we have 12 with a hangman energy, and the 15 breaking down to 6. 12 breaking down to 3. What does this say upright though? Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative. Falling in love or wedding proposals. The need to balance emotions, and invitation to a social event. What is this energy? Knight of Cups. Aquarius and Pisces energy. Interesting, because the Devil card is ruled by Capricorn, which is Saturn, which is in Aquarius. So why are these inverted? Where is Mercury still in Aquarius? Until the 15th. I feel like this is dealing with this post-shadow because everything is upside down still. But it's like the seasons are running out of order. In order to release myself from my shadow self, I need to refrain from moving forward yet. But I have this idea of experiencing this abundance and growth, which is water. Right? I have a summer energy with a summer card, and I have a fall energy heading into Capricorn, which is the beginning of winter. A little bit of like the winter of our discontent. I feel like I want to clarify that squirrel. I forgot to watch my segment and my thing shut off. So I got this mouse inverted, and I get this, like, it's eating us, emotionally eating away at me from the inside, like draining, like it's eating my reserves, it's eating my resources, it's draining my sustenance, my life force. The shadow element. And then I got the fancy duck inverted with this crown energy. It was like I was pulled to this crown energy down here. Water elemental. And then also I got the narwhal inverted, which has third eye activation in here. So it's like the only way to sort of stop it's like I have this limited opportunity while the Mercury retrograde post shadow is still in effect to go back and address like sort of unfinished business in terms of emotional shadow related to like deep wounding that affects the ability to level up in the third eye and the crown chakra. We're dealing with reviewing blockages and chains and having a blanket thrown over you, the shadow, the ego trouncing all over, in terms of the subconscious, the consciousness, the collective unconscious, in this reading for Mercury for Wednesday. So it's the I'm the hangman, which is Neptunian energy. Right? That's more of that subconscious energy. I need to deal with I need to untangle myself from my shadow, whether that's ego or trauma or whatever, that's preventing my emotional and psychic flow to open up to these higher energies. And a lot of that has to do with I'm so tired trying to survive my ego and trauma and binding and shadow that I don't have the energy to signal boost to these higher consciousnesses or higher dimensions. All right. So let's look at Thursday. Jupiter energy. Okay. So we have 11. Universal timing. Could be the twin flame number if that's relevant. Masculine and feminine energy coming together. This idea of unity, of polarity. 3-11 combines to 14. Although with the 2020, it would be an 18, but whatever. So I see that my Weird Al charm has come out, and it's making me think I keep getting this song Young, Dumb, and Ugly stuck in my head from the Alapalooza album. It's the one with the Jurassic Park song on it. It's a little bit like a sequel to Dare to Be Stupid, except that the people in the song aren't doing it like as a lark. They're just actually low vibrational energy people that do all this stupid shit. Right. So let's look at this card. So we have the Dreamer. So this is the Fool popping up again. Now the Aquarian energy for the 10th was inverted, and here the Aquarian energy is upright. We have Uranus, which is in Taurus. There's this idea of grounding. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities. Now look at this Fool. He's walking through a dimensional portal, and we have like this angel / Nicolas Cage over here. And a unicorn. And then we have the Two of Wands inverted. The crystal ball here. This is like, I'm trying to figure it out. This is like another person who's like, let me, like, here, take a look at this magic ball here and sell me your entire livelihood for it. But you could just get caught up in this, this story. Right? It's like, let me sell you this pyramid scheme. You're going to make tons of money, kid. And the kid's like, ooh. And it's just, you know, it may as well just be a snow globe. But here it's coming in inverted. It's like there's no decision to be made. It's like you know which way to go. And it's through this kind of portal, right? It's like, I'm not going to take your low vibrational stuff, right? I don't want to be young, dumb, and ugly anymore. Right? I'm not going to drive with one hand on the wheel. So I'm going to spell trouble correctly. Right? It's like I choose to pull into a higher dimension, especially right after that shadow work. And notice that this Roman numeral 2 here is an 11 again. Universal timing. It's time to... It's a little bit like putting away childish things, but it's not necessarily childish. It's like, I'm not really feeling this low vibrational thing anymore, right? It's like, I don't want to... It's like, what if there's more to life than partying every weekend and, you know, having an orgy and going to work and coming home and drinking and watching murder shows or whatever. It's like, what if I... It's like, what if I went out and went to a library, or I went on a hike? It is not to say that any of those things are necessarily bad or you're a piece of crap if you do those. There's like a vibrational tone to it. And if your life experience says I need to vibrate at this lower energy until I understand what it means, then that's fine. But if you're doing it to mollify, that's the word that I'm getting, I believe that's the right one. If you're using it to deaden yourself into a shadow state where you neither have access to higher energies or you're just avoiding them for some reason, then that's, it ceases to become a choice at that point. You might not really be learning anything. And it's like when you get to your life review or something, you might be like, oh, I didn't realize that was supposed to be like a play that had a 6-month run. I made my whole life that. So it's that thing. It's by moving into a higher dimension. Hopefully that made sense. If people are offended by that, I don't know. Ooh, this is giving me like super 90s vibes. I feel like I had a jacket with this color scheme when I was like 10. Hot pink, purple, and green. Alright, so we have Goose here. I can hold on to it. Honk, honk, motherfucker! Angry Goose. He'll nibble your bum. Let's see what else is in here. This is Venus. Vendredi. Friday. So the Wheel of Fortune inverted. This looks kind of like a grinder. Like a coffee grinder. This is kind of what I was just talking about, right? Partying, orgies, drinking. Lower vibrational energy. Look at this, is kind of like the Fool getting chucked off the wheel too. He's like, I'm not staying on this, so I'm gonna leap and way the hell over here. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Oh, okay, this is like a gaggle of geese. Like a cocktail party. Right? Just a bunch of low vibrational noise. Honk, honk. Like 1,000 angry geese just biting at each other. Low vibrational energy. Then we have the star inverted. So we have Archangel Jophiel. Says, happy times make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. Now what's interesting is that the 17, this like malignment of stars, where's my time? Breaks down to 8, which is where we start off with that infinity with the world cut open. Now the wheel is like a low vibration of the world, right? There's a circle. The circle of life. So we have Aquarian energy inverted here, and then we have Sagittarian energy inverted. Now, Jupiter is in Aquarius. But it's like, why is it inverted? Like, we're still looking at this shadow aspect, right? It's like I'm making a firm decision that I'm no longer going to be steering towards this low vibrational energy. I'm It's like I've got to crank this. Like I'm not gonna. It's like I'm getting off the wheel before the gear mashes me in the middle of the machine. Right? It's like where the hell do you think you're going? Everybody gets crunched up by the machine. It's like you don't. It's like no, I don't have to, and I'm not going to. I still feel like there's an Empress energy here that's not being addressed, so I guess I'll have to get another card. The Three of Pentacles. Okay. So I'm redoing my music deck, and I switched the Three of Pentacles song to Change by Churchill. So again, this idea of I'm switching, I'm changing what I'm building. The blueprints have shifted. Right? I'm not going to build in the same pattern anymore. Three of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn energy. Right? Mars just moved out of Taurus into Gemini. So it's this idea of like I'm putting a foundation in something that has a more sure-footed idea, right? I've looked at the idea from more than one side. I'm balanced. I'm using the masculine and the feminine energy together to set up the foundation for what I'm building now. I'm not just going off half-cocked, all right? So let's look at 13th here. So 13 right away is a death, rebirth, transition, ascension kind of energy. And then we have the Saturn energy, which is in Aquarius. This idea of a transformative energy into the collective consciousness in terms of communication. There's work. There's like Chronos, Saturn is the time master. So we're dealing again with this universal timing, but the timing isn't necessarily personal. It has to do with transforming the collective. And we also see this happening on the new moon in Pisces. So not only that, but we're having this like draining the swamp of the subconscious on the same day. So it might get really intense. Now right away here, I have the Venus/Capricorn thing, and I was looking at that when I saw the Capricorn thing. We're coming off of this Venus energy of also with I don't know why I'm getting... Oh, because Aquarius is in Taurus. Okay. The grounding energy of Taurus. So this could be Capricorn here, or it could be Venus here. It also sometimes gives me the world, and I did say that the wheel was a lower vibration of the world, right? We're building in a higher vibration, and we might have greater access to this world and have this sort of completed cycle and be able to close the hatch on that tennis ball and have this world become solid instead of just kind of flapping around in an endless loop wondering how the hell we're going to pull it together. So the shark nipping at your ankles. I think in the I believe in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, the shark has to do with those, the shadow emotions that, again, just sort of circling around, chewing on your ankles kind of energy that just won't let go. But we'll see. I have the sad mask. Getting a little bit of behind blue eyes. The Who. No one bites back that hard on their anger. None of my pain and woe will show through. But I blame you. Interesting. And then inverted, I have the newt. Or is that a gecko? Why did I say newt? That is fucking a gecko. Interesting. Do I have... I don't know if I have a copy of Animalia right now. I guess I don't have a copy of Animalia right now. That makes me sad. I think I gave my good copy to my cousin's kid because the one that I bought was all shitty. Okay. It makes me think about technology, though, because I believe the end page is like a bunch of computers. But the reason that this gecko is important is because there's this idea of like sticking onto the walls. Oh, I'm out of breath from digging through my closet. The Six of Swords. This is my sailing away from the bullshit card. Mercury in Aquarius, which is currently where it's at. Right, this is like on the last. It's like I'm coming out of the Mercury retrograde post shadow, right? It's a kind of a gray day, but there's daylight to be had. I'm moving away from all of this, all of these. No more sharks in the water, right? Like maybe I don't want to be sad all the time. I'm still not quite sure what that's doing. I wish I had that book still. And then we have the Page of Earth inverted. It says scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging or a new area of study. What's interesting is that this is coming in inverted. But why? When this is inverted, it's I need to go deeper. Here, it's like it's like, you know, when the boat kind of pops up on top of the waves and moves away. But I have an 11 here. I might have to clarify that. This probably has something to do with this gecko that really wants to be a newt. Alright, actually charms to clarify, and then another card too. The microphone inverted. Something I'm not talking about. Again, like a lack of amplification. I just heard Going Under by Evanescence. I'm burying this. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to let these cycles start over again. They will not be able to stick to me like dirt. Like I'm going to take a bath. It's sort of like a little bit like wash away all my sins. And I don't know why that's coming to me like that, because I'm kind of anti-theist, but just the idea of cleansing of shadow element, right? I'm having an emotional relief of darkness that kept me in this, stuck to this state of sadness where I want to break free of it, but something keeps chomping at my ankles and yanking me back down into the depths every time I've tried to pull away. But it's like, I'm not going to get bitten by the shark now because I got a bolt, motherfucker. Right? This person's wrapped up because their ankles are all chewed off. They can't stand up. So the Knight of Fire inverted. So this is another Hanged Man energy. This time it's a fire elemental sitting in the Piscean energy. Restlessness. Now this is interesting because in the upright it says a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. Notice that the 6 is half of the 12. But what is the Knight of Wands usually? Oh, he's usually Scorpio and Sagittarius. So a Scorpionic card inverted is also I need to go deeper. Why is that? Why is it all deep, though? I think I still need to clarify the 6 of Swords. This is weird. Just when I thought I was going to speed through the end of the reading. Nope. Okay, so I have the Page of Swords. No, he's all red and orange, too, like that knight, like the knight was. He's like coming into the tower. There's like one of these pillars falling over, right? This is the day after that tower came down. He's like, oh, am I late? I had to row all the way across this river to get to the battlefield. I guess I missed out on the action there. Oh, this is like the Knight of Swords, though. That we started off with. Where's that? Yeah. Even though this guy is the different suit, it's the same energy. But I see this is like the next stage. It's like I'm not building myself up to be this way again. There's an 11 here, but it's like I'm looking at the truth of what just happened. I'm starting to understand the truth, right? He's not necessarily out here to fight a battle. He's like, I've come through, I'm leveling up, I'm starting over again at a new level, again with this like, at a lower rank of the next level, because he's only a page. And there's this sacral energy, right? I feel safe enough to be my own creative power. I'm unsure about the truth, but I am starting to let this shadow clear on what's really been going on here. And I'm going to let these shadow elements fall one at a time as the dust settles, right? And this is like, if you look at this, it looks like this guy's rowing towards this battlefield here, where all this stuff was happening. Like the next morning. So it's like, and also this idea of like the next morning, right? I'm MOURN, like I'm so sad, like, oh, what's happening with society? Well, society's getting an enema. And we see as the dust settles that there's been a lot of constriction in terms of shame and guilt and not being able to be one's creative self because the truth has been held hostage in some way. All right, and this is what's creating this new world here. So that could be personal, but it's also very obviously on a societal level, which is sometimes, well, I would say a lot of the time when I do, I feel like when I do these weeklies, and especially if I do a pick a card Lenormand grid, I almost always get something for society. Alright, so if you want to get a personal reading, here we go. I could zoom that in a little bit more, but I don't want to screw up the focus. If you want to get a personal rating, a complete list of ratings I have and how much they cost is going to be in the description box underneath this video. You can email me, thecatcameback@camp@gmail.com. Everything's through the link tree, linktr.ee/cattheminion. And I have on Amazon lantern with, again, slightly different cover, same image. That's Kindle or paperback. And then I have 2 coloring books, and I've got actual art items on Etsy over here. But stuff like this, and again, those chapbook packs with the little bits of the poetry and art and stuff. It's like kind of like an oracle reading. And there's a coupon code 3star17 if you get 3 or more items, you get a discount. Some of the profits are going to charity. Same thing with prints on DeviantArt. And I have merch on Cafe Press. So I'm adding all these new phone cases as we speak. There's some canvas prints there, but most of the art prints are going to be on DeviantArt. And there's shirts and blankets and towels and little bags. If you'd like to just donate wholesale there, energy exchange tip jar, that's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.